Welcome to Coffee Break. Thoughtful conversations for a busy world. Let's begin.
You know the feeling. It's 11:30 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oh, I know it well.
Or, if you're really lucky and your brain is feeling particularly cruel, it's 3:00 a.m. on a Tuesday. You're lying in bed, the room is pitch black, you're staring at the ceiling, and suddenly your brain decides to open a new tab.
The dreaded mental spreadsheet.
The mental spreadsheet, exactly. And it's not tracking your wins. It's not a list of things you did well this week. It is a forensic audit of everything you haven't done yet.
Yes.
You look at your career trajectory, you look at the number in your savings account, maybe you look at your relationship status or your lack of a mortgage, and a singular, suffocating thought takes over. I should be further along by now.
It's the universal anthem of the modern professional. It's the Sunday scaries on steroids.
It is.
It is that specific gnawing anxiety that hits working adults, entrepreneurs, creatives, really anyone trying to build something meaningful that suggests you have missed a critical deadline. The problem is you can't quite remember who set the deadline or when it passed. You just know with absolute certainty that you are late.
Right. It feels like you're running for a train that left the station 5 minutes ago, and you're the only one left on the platform.
And you feel like everyone is watching you.
Exactly. So today we are doing a deep dive into exactly that feeling. We're not just going to vent about it, we're going to dismantle it. We're unpacking a fascinating piece of material from Coffee Break, specifically entry number 060, titled, "You're Not Behind in Life. You're Just Living Someone Else's Timeline."
It's a title that sounds like a comfort blanket, doesn't it?
It
sounds like something you'd see embroidered on a pillow, but when you actually dig into the arguments the source makes and the psychological concepts underneath them, it's more like a splash of cold water.
A reality check.
A serious reality check.
And that's our mission today.
Yeah.
We aren't here to offer platitudes or, generic live, laugh, love advice. We want to dismantle these fake deadlines mechanically. We want to understand the sociology and the psychology behind why we feel this way. And, more importantly, figure out how to be high achievers, how to stay ambitious without the crushing weight of constantly feeling like we're losing.
And to do that, we have to start with the core thesis of the source material. It proposes a fundamental shift in how we view the concept of being behind.
Okay.
The source argues that the feeling of being behind is almost never a problem with your actual progress. It is structurally and fundamentally a problem with comparison.
Okay, I want to stop you there immediately. I want to push back on this right out of the gate.
Please do.
Because that sounds nice. It sounds forgiving. Oh, don't compare yourself. You're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at reality. If I set a goal to launch my business by 30, and I'm 31 and I haven't done it, isn't that literally a lack of progress?
Well, let's break that down.
If I wanted to have a net worth of X by age Y, and I don't, that's a math problem, not a comparison problem. I set a goal, I missed it. That's failure to execute. Why should I frame that as just comparison?
That is the intuitive way to view it. That's how we are wired to view it. But let's look at the physics of it.
Okay.
The source draws a distinction between progress and timelines. We tend to conflate them, but they are different mechanisms. Progress is a vector in physics terms. It has direction and magnitude.
Right.
If you are moving forward relative to where you started, if you have more skills, more clarity, or more groundwork laid than you did a year ago, you are making progress. That is a factual, objective statement.
Okay, so I'm moving forward, but I might be moving forward slowly.
Right, and slowly is a relative term. You can only be slow if you are comparing your speed to something else. The feeling of being behind requires a reference point. You cannot be behind in a vacuum. If you were the last person on Earth driving a car at 10 miles an hour, you wouldn't be late, you wouldn't be slow, you would just be driving.
So the anxiety is entirely dependent on the existence of other people, or at least my perception of other people.
It's dependent on the existence of an external variable. This ties into a concept called relative deprivation.
Okay, what's that?
Sociologists use this to explain why people who are objectively doing well can feel miserable. You don't judge your success by your own history. You judge it by the people you perceive as your peers.
I see.
The source calls this the false sense of urgency. It's urgency derived not from the necessity of the task like, I need to eat or I'll starve, but from the panic of the timeline.
The panic of the timeline.
Yes. I need to be a director by 35.
Because that's what directors do. Or because my college roommate is a director.
Exactly. And this false urgency is dangerous. It doesn't just make you feel bad, it actually degrades your performance.
How so?
Psychologically, when we are in a state of timeline panic, our decision-making faculties narrow. We enter a scarcity mindset. We look for shortcuts.
We try to hack the system, we stop building and start scrambling.
We do. Think about an entrepreneur. If they feel behind because a competitor just raised a huge series a round,
Which is a massive signal of external validation.
a huge signal, that entrepreneur might rush their own product launch. They might cut corners on quality assurance. They might burn out their engineering team just to catch up to a milestone that the competitor set.
They stop playing their game and start playing the competitor's game.
Precisely. They are reacting to a timeline, not the reality of the product, and that leads to unforced errors.
Right.
You sabotage your real progress because you're trying to fix a comparison problem. You ship a buggy product, you lose customer trust, and you actually end up further behind than if you had just ignored the competitor and focused on your own vector.
There's an analogy in the notes here that I think lands this well.
The runner analogy.
Yes, the runner analogy. It visualizes this perfectly. Let's walk through it.
Yes. Let's construct the scene. Imagine you are training for a marathon. You have a plan. You've done the nutrition prep. You are running a 10-minute mile.
Okay.
It's a sustainable pace for you. Your heart rate is in the aerobic zone, and you are making steady progress toward the finish line, which is 26.2 miles away. You're doing everything right.
Okay. I'm in the zone. I'm feeling good about my run.
Then you look to your left and you see someone sprinting. They're doing a 4-minute mile. They blow past you like you're standing still.
Immediately, I feel slow. I feel like I'm jogging. I feel like I'm not trying hard enough.
Right. Your internal feeling of progress just vanished. Poof.
All because of one data point from the outside.
Exactly. And if you are susceptible to this comparison trap, if you let that relative deprivation kick in, you might try to speed up to match them. You push your pace to a 6-minute mile. But what happens?
I burn out. I hit the wall at mile 3 because I haven't trained for that speed. My body isn't prepared for it.
Exactly. But here is the kicker. What if that person isn't running a marathon? What if they're running the 100-meter dash?
Then I'm an idiot. Because if I try to sprint a marathon pace against a sprinter, I'm destroying my own race to win a race I'm not even entered in.
Precisely. Different races, different mechanics, different finish lines. But in life, we don't see the race markers. We don't see the bib numbers.
We just see the speed.
We just see the speed. We see someone exiting their company at 25 or buying a house at 24, and we think, I need to go that fast, without realizing they are playing a completely different sport.
Yeah.
Maybe they had venture capital backing. Maybe they inherited the down payment. Maybe they are sacrificing their health for that speed.
Or maybe they're just on a different part of their own track.
Exactly. That's the burnout. Burnout is trying to run a marathon at a sprinter's pace because you looked sideways.
But this begs the massive question.
Yeah.
If we are all running these different races, why do we all seem to have the same rule book? Why does everyone think they need to be married by 28, manager by 30, homeowner by 32? Who wrote this script?
This brings us to section 2. The source calls this the script, but in sociology, there's actually a formal term for this.
Oh, really?
It's called the social clock.
The social clock. It sounds ominous, like a doomsday clock.
It kind of is, in a way. It was coined back in the 60s by a sociologist named Bernice Newgarden, and it refers to the cultural consensus on when certain life events should happen. It's the invisible schedule that society agrees upon.
The invisible schedule.
Yes. And if you are on time, you feel social approval, you get the pats on the back. If you are off time, you feel stress and social isolation. People ask questions. So when are you going to settle down?
Right, the classic Thanksgiving dinner interrogation.
Precisely. And the source argues that our current social clock is broken, or rather, that we're trying to tell time with a broken watch.
What do you mean by broken?
Well, the source points out that a lot of the milestones we stress over were codified during the post-war industrial boom, the 1950s and 60s. We have to look at the history here.
The Gold Watch era. The Mad Men era.
Right. Think about the economic reality of 1960. The path was linear. It was predictable. You graduate high school or maybe college. You get a job at a large corporation, you stay there.
For 40 years.
For 40 years, you climb the ladder rung by rung. You buy a house, which costs maybe twice your annual salary.
Which is just an insane thought today.
It's a fantasy. You buy it by age 24, you have kids, you retire with a pension. The script was perfectly aligned with the economic engine of that specific time.
And today, The economic engine's completely different, but the script hasn't changed. We haven't gotten the memo.
Today, that economic reality is a fantasy for most people. We are in the gig economy. Housing prices are astronomical compared to wages. People change careers 5 or 6 times.
Or more.
But the expectations, the social clock, haven't updated. We are judging ourselves against a timeline built for a world that no longer exists.
So it's like
You're trying to buy a house at 24 in an economy where that requires being in the top 1% of earners, but you feel like a failure because your grandfather did it on a factory wage.
That's a recipe for mass neurosis. We're playing a video game using the cheat codes from a version that's been patched out. We're mad that the codes don't work anymore.
And this outdated script leads to what the source calls borrowed goals. This is a crucial concept to understand if you want to get rid of the anxiety.
I love that term, borrowed goals. It implies you have to give them back eventually.
Or pay interest on them. High interest. A borrowed goal is when you chase something, a specific job title, a luxury car, a certain lifestyle aesthetic, not because it aligns with your internal values, but because the script says this is what success looks like.
I think this connects to René Girard's theory of mimetic desire, right? I was reading about this recently.
Well, absolutely. That's a fantastic connection.
It seems like the same mechanism.
It is. Girard argued that human desire isn't autonomous. We don't just wake up in a vacuum wanting a Porsche or a vice president title. We desire things because other people desire them.
We see them as desirable.
We mimic the desires of our models, our peers, our idols, the people we perceive as high status.
So when I see my college roommate get promoted to VP and post about it, suddenly I want to be a VP, even if I hate management, even if I just want to sit in a room and code or write. I absorb his desire.
Exactly. You borrow the goal. You assume that because he is happy or looks happy with that goal, you will be too. And the source points out the tragedy here.
Which is?
It's a lose-lose situation.
How so?
Well, obviously, if you fail to achieve the borrowed goal, you feel like a loser. You feel behind. You beat yourself up.
Right. That's the obvious pain point.
But, and this is the insidious part, if you do achieve it,
You feel empty.
you feel hollow. You spent 5 years climbing the ladder. You grinded. You sacrificed your weekends. You get to the roof, and you realize you're on the wrong building.
Oof.
You have the title, but you're miserable. The view doesn't impress you.
That is the worst case scenario. Success that feels like failure. And usually people react to that hollowness not by questioning the goal, but by assuming they didn't go high enough.
Right. They double down. Well, being a VP didn't make me happy, so maybe I need to be the senior VP.
Maybe I need the boat.
Maybe I need the vacation home. It's the hedonic treadmill. You keep running, but the satisfaction level never changes because you are chasing a phantom fed to you by the social clock.
Now, inherited expectations and the social clock are the background radiation. They've always been there.
For centuries, yeah.
But we have to talk about the modern accelerant. The thing that took this localized keeping up with the Joneses and turned it into a global 2047 spectator sport.
Section 3, the amplifier.
Social media. We can't avoid it.
Absolutely not.
The source talks about the invisible pressure of social media. But let's be real, it's not invisible. It's in 4K resolution in my hand every 15 minutes. It's glowing in the dark.
It's invisible in the sense that it's ambient. It's the air we breathe. It changes your baseline for normal without you realizing it.
Okay, unpack that.
Before the internet, think about who you compared yourself to. You compared yourself to your neighbors, your cousins, maybe your high school classmates at the reunion every 10 years.
It was a small sample size.
Beep.
And critically, you saw the whole picture.
What do you mean?
You knew that the guy with a nice car across the street also had a loud dog, or a bad marriage, or a drinking problem. You saw the trade-offs.
Exactly. You had context. Today, you are comparing yourself to the top 0.01% of the human population in every single category.
That's the key, isn't it? It's the aggregation. It's the Frankenstein monster of success.
It is. You open Instagram or TikTok. First, you see a fitness influencer with 4% body fat. Then you swipe and see a 22-year-old crypto millionaire.
Right.
Then you swipe and see a momfluencer baking organic bread in a pristine white kitchen with 3 well-behaved children.
And my brain, my primitive monkey brain, synthesizes all of that into one person. I feel like I need to be rich, ripped, and the perfect parent simultaneously.
Which is statistically and physically impossible, but your brain doesn't know that. It just sees the tribe, and it sees that you are at the bottom of the pecking order of this imaginary super tribe.
So it triggers a survival instinct.
It triggers a survival anxiety. I am the weakest link. I'm going to be left behind.
There's also the issue of data quality. We aren't seeing reality. We're seeing the highlight reel. This is classic survivorship bias.
Absolutely. Especially on platforms like LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you only see the announcements. I'm humbled to announce our Series A. I'm thrilled to accept this award. I'm excited to join Google.
You never see the posts in between.
You never see the post that says, I'm humbled to announce I missed payroll this week and I'm having a panic attack in the bathroom.
I'm thrilled to announce my startup failed and I lost my parents' investment. Yeah, nobody posts that.
The algorithm buries failure, doesn't get engagement.
So you are comparing your behind the scenes, your doubts, your failures, your messy middle, your boring Tuesday afternoons.
With everyone else's movie trailer. It creates a distortion field regarding speed. You think success is instant because you only see the result, never the process.
Comparing your behind the scenes with their movie trailer. I need to tattoo that on my forehead. That distortion of speed is what kills us.
It really is.
We think if we haven't made it in 6 months, we're failing. Which leads us to section 4, the reality check.
Understanding nonlinearity. This is the antidote to the distortion.
The source argues that we need to break the industrial model of growth. We need to stop thinking of our lives as an assembly line.
The industrial model is linear. It's predictable. Grade 1 leads to grade 2. Junior job leads to senior job. Input A leads to output B. It's a straight line up and to the right.
But real life, especially for anyone trying to build something, a business, a creative career, a deep relationship, it's not linear.
No.
It's messy. It loops back. It stalls.
It's exponential, or it's step function growth. The source uses a botanical analogy here that I think is brilliant.
Let's hear it.
It compares the dandelion to the bamboo.
I'm a sucker for a plant metaphor. Break it down for me.
Okay. If you plant a dandelion, what happens?
It pops up in like 3 days. It's instant. You get a little yellow flower right away.
Right. Instant gratification. It's visible. It's there. You can post a picture of it. Look at my flower. It fits the social media timeline perfectly.
But it's a weed. It's fragile. It has shallow roots.
Exactly. You can kick it over. A stiff wind can blow it away. Now, consider the giant timber bamboo.
Okay.
The process is radically different. You plant the seed, you water it, you fertilize the soil, you wait. 1 year passes, nothing breaks the surface.
Just dirt.
Just dirt. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you are watering dirt. Your neighbor, the dandelion farmers, think you are insane.
You're posting pictures of their field of dandelion.
And they're laughing at you. What's this guy doing, watering a patch of mud?
I would think I'm insane. I'd assume it's dead. I'd want to dig it up to see what's wrong.
Most people would quit. They'd say, this isn't working. I'm behind the dandelion guy. Look at his field of flowers.
Okay, so what's happening underground?
Under the surface, that bamboo is building a massive, complex root system. It is gathering resources. It is establishing a foundation strong enough to support what's coming.
And then what happens?
In the 5th year, it breaks the surface, and it grows 80 feet in 6 weeks.
80 feet. That's like a skyscraper compared to the dandelion.
80 feet. You can literally hear it growing. But, and this is the crucial point, it didn't grow 80 feet in 6 weeks.
Right.
It grew 80 feet in 5 years and 6 weeks.
That's the reframe. The 4 years of dirt were the growth. That was the work.
As the reframe. If you are in a building phase, if you are learning a skill, saving money, working on your mental health, writing a draft nobody sees, you are in the root phase.
And you will look behind.
You will look behind compared to the dandelion people.
The people who took the quick win.
Yeah.
The flashy job title at the unstable company.
Yeah.
The least luxury car.
Right. But without the roots, you cannot sustain the height. If a dandelion tried to grow 80 feet tall, it would snap in a light breeze. The delay isn't a bug, it's a feature.
It's biology.
It's physics. You are building the capacity to hold the success you want.
I think that's incredibly reassuring for our listeners. Just because you don't have the external validation yet doesn't mean the internal mechanism isn't working.
Right.
You might just be building roots.
Exactly. The author James Clear talks about this as the plateau of latent potential. You work and see no result, and then suddenly, boom, an explosion of growth.
But you have to survive the plateau.
You have to survive the years of dirt without losing your mind.
So how do we survive it? How do we stop the spiraling thoughts while we're staring at the dirt? This brings us to section 5, the solution.
Separating values from expectations. This is where we move from theory to practice.
The source says we need to separate personal values from outside expectations. But honestly, that is really hard.
It is.
My brain is a soup of my own desires and things my parents told me and things I saw on TV. How do I actually tell the difference? They sound the same in my head.
It requires an active audit. You can't just think about it loosely, you have to interrogate it. The expert advice here is to use a variation of the 5 whys technique.
Like in manufacturing.
Exactly, like in lean manufacturing. You have to drill down until you hit bedrock.
Okay, walk me through that. Let's role play it. Let's
Yeah.
say my goal is I want to be a millionaire by 40. That's a classic milestone goal.
Okay. Why do you want to be a millionaire by 40?
Because I want financial freedom.
Yeah.
I don't want to stress about bills.
Okay. Why do you want financial freedom?
So I don't have to listen to a boss. I want autonomy. I want to control my time.
Okay, that's good. That sounds like a value. Autonomy is a core human value, but let's dig deeper to be sure. Why does it have to be millionaire status? Could you have autonomy with less?
I mean, probably. Yeah.
So is there something else attached to that specific number? Why a million?
Well, if I'm honest,
Yeah.
I guess I want to prove to my high school guidance counselor that I'm not a screw-up.
Okay.
Or I want my friends to be impressed when I pull up to the reunion. I want to be the rich friend,
Bingo, there it is.
the external validator.
Right. The root of the goal split. Part of it is autonomy, value, but a big part of it is status, expectation.
How do you know which is which?
If the why eventually terminates in, so other people will think X about me, it is an expectation. It is a borrowed goal.
It relies on an audience to exist.
Exactly. And a value. How do I identify a pure value?
What's the test for that?
A value terminates in you. Because I love the craft of writing, because I want to spend time with my kids, because this problem fascinates me and I want to solve it, because I want to feel healthy.
The litmus test is the audience.
Exactly. Yeah. If you were the last person on earth, would you still want it?
If I was the last person on earth, I probably wouldn't care about the Lamborghini. Who am I trying to impress? The squirrels.
Right.
But I still want to write. I'd still want to build a comfortable house. I'd still want to cook good food.
Then those are your real clocks. That is the title of the source. The clock is not your own. Taking ownership means rejecting the timeline society handed you, the one that requires the Lamborghini, and manually resetting the watch to the things that pass the last person on Earth test.
It's an act of rebellion. You're saying, I'm not late. I'm exactly where my own clock says I should be.
Yes.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate again, because I can hear the type A personalities in the audience grinding their teeth right now.
Go for it. What's the objection?
They're saying, this sounds like an excuse to be lazy. This sounds like settling. If I stop comparing myself to the best, won't I lose my edge? Don't I need that anxiety? Don't I need the fear of being behind to push me out of bed in the morning?
This is section 6, the myth of comparison anxiety. We have this deep-seated cultural belief that self-flagellation is a necessary fuel source.
Yeah.
We think if we aren't beating ourselves up, we won't move.
I need to feel bad so I can do good.
Right. And let's be fair, anxiety is a fuel. It works. You can run an engine on dirty fuel. If you are terrified of failure, if you are terrified of what your neighbors think, you will work hard. You will grind.
But the engine smokes.
The engine smokes, it sputters, and eventually it explodes. Comparison-driven ambition is what psychologists call obsessive passion.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's rigid, it's fragile. If you don't hit the mark, your identity collapses. It leads to burnout, health issues, and that feeling of hollowness we talked about earlier.
So what's the alternative? We still want to be ambitious. We don't want to just sit on the couch.
The alternative is harmonious passion, or simply sustainable ambition. The source argues that when you drop the fake deadlines, you don't drop the goal. You just drop the weight.
You're still running the marathon. You just stop looking at the sprinter, keep your pace.
And here is the paradox that high performers need to understand. Anxiety drains energy. Comparison is cognitively expensive.
It takes up a lot of mental real estate.
A ton. Every minute you spend scrolling LinkedIn and feeling inadequate, every minute you spend spiraling at 3 a.m. is a minute of mental energy you are not putting into your work.
It's a leak, a massive energy leak.
It's a massive leak. If you plug that leak, if you stop caring about the timeline, you actually have more horsepower to pursue your goals.
You become more productive, not less.
Yes, because you are focused on the process, not the optics. You are focused on the work, not the scoreboard.
I like that distinction. Focusing on the process versus the optics.
Look, there is always going to be a faster sprinter. Always. If your self-worth is tied to being the fastest, you are mathematically guaranteed to be unhappy eventually.
Because someone's always coming up behind you.
Someone younger, hungrier, and with fewer responsibilities is always coming.
So you have to switch the game. You have to stop playing who is the fastest and start playing how far can I go.
Exactly. You reclaim your agency. You become the timekeeper. You decide when the race is over.
This has been a heavy one, but a necessary one. We've gone from the panic of the Sunday scaries to the physics of bamboo root systems.
It's quite a journey, but it's the journey required to get your sanity back.
To recap where we've been, we established that we feel behind because we are judging our behind-the-scenes reality against everyone else's highlight reel.
Right.
We're trying to follow a social clock from 1960 and the economy of the 2020s.
And we are letting borrowed goals steer the ship, leading us toward destinations we don't even actually want.
The solution isn't to stop trying. It isn't to give up on ambition. It's to realize you are running a different race. It's to identify what matters to you. The things that survive the last person on Earth, test, and build your roots.
Trust the biology of the bamboo. If you're doing the work, the growth is happening, even if you can't see it yet, even if the neighbors are laughing at your dirt.
I want to leave you with a final thought. It's a bit of a visualization exercise to take with you into the week.
Okay.
We talked about the blackout test briefly, but I want you to really sit with it.
Let's hear it.
Imagine a permanent digital blackout. The internet breaks. No Instagram, no LinkedIn, no high school reunions, no ability to ever broadcast your achievements to another human being again.
Okay.
You will still do the work.
Yeah.
You will still live the life. You'll still make the money or write the book, but no one will ever clap. You will never get a like.
Silence. Just you and the work.
In that silence, which of your current goals would you keep working toward? And which ones would you instantly drop?
That's the ultimate filter.
The ones you drop. Those are the fake deadlines. Those are the borrowed goals. Those are the weights you can put down right now. The ones you keep. That's your life. Start living that one.
Take your time.
Thanks for diving deep with us. See you next time.
Thanks for spending this time with us on Coffee Break. If this conversation stayed with you, you can find more episodes here on the channel. Until next time, take care.